Okay, we're going to start this demonstration in the relatively thick air at 15,000 feet.
Okay.
You'll be hand flying initially. We're going to start all stabilized here at 280 knots, which is a typical speed here at 15,000 feet. And we're really going to be focusing on the aerodynamics here, Doug, and some of the manual handling characteristics of the jet. So let's start by looking at our primary flight display, and the first thing we'll notice is a huge performance envelope that you'll see on the speed tape.
This right here?
Yeah, so you see any speed limitations there on the low speed or the high speed regime there at all?
No, I don't.
Not at all. So you see we're at 280 knots, and we're really going to be focusing on angle of attack, managing angle of attack, and the relationship between generating lift and drag and thrust here as well. So as we start here, Doug, we have the flight path vector turned on.
Okay.
And we also have the aircraft symbol, which is arcing right across the horizon there. So that's your indirect indication of angle of attack. Now
So it's the difference between the two?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So just roughly, what's a close approximate angle
4
of attack
degrees,
right here?
something like that.
That's
4
about,
degrees, 5
I can
degrees,
actually
6
check it
degrees.
in my HUD right here because the captain's got
Right.
a very accurate one. It's about 2.8 degrees, so
Oh,
just
okay.
sitting above the 2.5 degree caret, so 2.8 degrees. So first thing we're going to have you do, Doug, is turn off the autopilot.
Okay, it's turned off.
The auto throttles are off.
Disconnected.
Nice thick air. We're going to have you just go ahead and hand fly the jet here at 15,000 feet. So go right ahead and turn it off. There you go. And we got no wind. It's nice thick air. Lots of available thrust. How does the aircraft feel to you right here?
Feels good.
Okay. So when you get comfortable, we'll go ahead and just do some 30-degree bank turns.
Okay.
And we're not looking at steep turn performance here at all. We just want to get you the feel of the aircraft. You can keep the flight path vector right on the horizon. That'll maintain your altitude. And as we go into 30 degrees of bank, in order to maintain 280 knots, what are you going to have to do to compensate?
Gonna have to add a little power.
Right, so our angle of attack is going to increase a little bit as we get a bit of roll in there, and just go ahead and add a little additional thrust there. Just go ahead and get the feel of the jet here. And whenever you like, we'll go ahead and roll on into a 30-degree bank as well.
Yeah, on the opposite direction?
Opposite direction. And again, looking at our speed tape, no limitations to high speed or low speed. We also have a tremendous amount of available thrust here right now. If we look up at our thrust mode, we're sitting at about 77% N1s. And if we go to our N1 limit page here, we're going to show that max continuous is 101. So there's a lot of excess thrust we need here. Thick air, how does the airplane fly?
Flies real good.
That's perfect. Okay, now just for demonstration purposes only, we're going to go ahead and go to 45 degrees of bank and let
Okay.
you feel how the aircraft performs at 45 degrees. As we do that, we're going to have to increase the angle of attack to generate more lift. That's going to induce a little bit more drag. You'll compensate with a little bit more thrust.
Bank angle.
So Doug, very nice. If you look at your speed tape again, do you have any limits in the high or the low speed regime there?
None at all.
So amazing performance capability here of the 737 at 15,000 feet. Flies really nice, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Lots of performance.
Bank angle.
What we're
Bank
also
angle.
doing here is we're turning off the yaw damper, which you probably wouldn't even notice at 15,000 feet with the thick air. But later on, we're going to contrast the aircraft performance at high altitude. So the yaw damper being off is going to show you some of the instabilities related to the thin air at altitude that you'll feel later on. Okay, let's go ahead and go into a 45-degree bank, the other turn.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Very nice. And how does the airplane fly?
Same as before. Lots of good performance right here with no limitations.
And what's your approximate angle of attack if you look at your difference there?
I'm going to call that about 3 degrees.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 degrees. So a little bit more angle of attack to compensate for diverting the lateral component of lift here. Okay, go ahead and roll on out to wings level again. The whole idea is to give you a feel of how the jet flies here, the nice thick air, excess thrust we have available. And now we focus on the primary flight displays, really give us a lot of information as a pilot, aerodynamic information as well. So what we're going to do next, Doug, is we're going to go to 60 degrees of bank. And the reason we're doing that is not to train 60-degree steep turns here. It's just a convention. We're going to artificially load up the wing.
Okay.
So about 60 degrees of bank, we're going to be pulling about 2 Gs. And now for the very first time, we're going to see speed limits come up on the bottom of the speed tape. We'll see our minimum safe speed, which will be top of the red bar. And above that, you'll see the minimum maneuver speed, which will be 1.3 Gs maneuvering capability. And the reason we're going to do that is we're going to talk about managing angle of attack.
Okay.
So if we did get to approaching intermittent stick shaker, which is top of that red bar on the speed tape, we want to recognize that as pilots and unload from that. And the primary way to unload is nose down and using your elevator as your primary pitch control. But first thing we're going to show you some of the relationships between angle of attack, generating lift, and drag there.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and go into 60 degrees of bank. You decide which direction you want to go in.
Go to the right.
And this time we will not compensate with additional thrust. And we'll show that as angle of attack increases quite a bit, that really increases the drag as well.
Okay.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
There's 45
Bank
degrees,
angle.
and we'll take it all the way to 60.
Bank angle.
Now
Bank
you
angle.
notice on your speed tape, we're starting to get our min speed coming up on the bottom of the speed tape. Okay? And look what's happened to your airspeed. Really decreases there. And just for training purposes, go ahead and keep it in intermittent stick shake. I want you to feel how loaded up that wing feels. Okay, go ahead and recover now, wings level. Now we'll climb back to 15,000 feet, so you can use thrust. Although you don't feel the G's in the simulator here, Doug, we're artificially loading up the wing there, and you can see the minimum speed come up on the bottom of the speed tape.
Yep.
In addition, the pitch limit indicators will come down too. That'll show you intermittent stick shaker. The wing is still flying there in degraded capability, but it is still flying. It's not full stall. That's what we call approach to stall.